All right, all right. Welcome back to the show, friends. I've got some clarifications to make. One moment. I'm over here watching this Darren Gettys, which was Derwood O'Grady. There's been an update. Now, there's just some clarifications I need to make. Now, this is coming from Joseph Morris, his YouTube channel. This was released an hour ago. I've got no idea how to... there's no way that I can really verify any of this information, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in the meantime, because it's just too juicy. You have to get a load of this. Now, I'll give you a summary of what it is he's saying. Some of the key claims that he was making. So, Darren Gettys' identity and connection. Gettys, previously known as Derwood O'Grady, introduces himself as a resident of Trenton, Nova Scotia, with family ties to the Sullivans, confirmed by the children's paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray. That was the woman on the news. He claims 30 years of local business experience, adding to his perceived credibility. He is Malaya Brooks-Murray, second cousin, and his son reportedly worked with Daniel Martel, the children's stepfather. Now, Gettys claims with 1,000% certainty that Jack 4 and Lily 6 are alive, being cared for by Malaya's native people, end quote, possibly on a reservation outside Nova Scotia or even Canada, for example, the Aquacas Reserve, or the other side of the border in New York. He cites a source with direct knowledge but refuses to disclose their identity unless his information is proven false. He says he cross-checked this with other witnesses. So Gettys suggests Malaya was struggling with postpartum depression, PTSD, and a desire to escape her situation with Martel. He claims she was assisted by a group of young women, described as friends of semi-related individuals, who helped her leave in a stupid but well-intentioned way. Malaya allegedly fled with her youngest child, Meadow, after learning Gettys was pursuing this lead, violating a child protective service order to stay in her mother's home. This led to Meadow being removed from her custody. So I guess there's some clarification that Meadow was removed, and now Malaya's technically on the run. So she's not technically on the run with her baby, according to this particular individual, Gettys. So Gettys says he shared his information with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, but is frustrated by their lack of action. He demands they move to find the children, suggesting they could be anywhere from a local farmhouse to Platsburg, New York. He references the $150,000 reward offered by Nova Scotia for information on the children's disappearance, urging action from both Canadian and U.S. authorities. You know, $150,000, in my opinion, he's leading the cops right to them in that sense. Should this be true, they'll find some reason not to pay him. Viewer comments reflect skepticism, frustration, and hope. Many questions why Gettys went public instead of directly to the RCMP, demand proof of life, and criticize Malaya for wasting resources if the children were hidden intentionally. Some express anger at the RCMP, while others doubt Gettys' credibility.
My name is Darin. My real name is Darin. My last name is Geddes, Geddes. I'm a Stellarton rat. I was born in Stellarton. I live in Trenton. I'm related to Patty Allen and the people, my family in Toro. I know the McKenzie boys, James, Alvin, Earl, Daniel's father. I haven't known Earl. I only spotted him once. I've seen him a few times, but I've known James and Alvin and the rest of them for years.
Darren says he spoke to someone with direct knowledge of the children's whereabouts
and I can't say who they are, and I can't really say what they told me, but it's ironclad. It's 1,000% true, okay? I know exactly what happened to the kids. The kids are alive. The kids are probably not in Nova Scotia now, but the kids are safe. The kids are being taken care of by, I'm sure, by Malaya's native people. My number one goal, if we could get those kids back alive, that would have been it. Knowing what I found out today through CPS and the information that I found out from this person, and believe me, it's ironclad. It's 1,000%. The kids are alive, and somebody has them that's taking care of them. Meadow is in custody of CPS, and they're going to decide where Meadow goes. Jack and Lily, I'm telling you, they're alive, and I'm sure they're being protected by the Native community, probably not the Native community in Shubenacadie, and they may not even be in Canada. Now, that's what I know, and there's a big difference between what I know and what I think. So I just told you what I know. If I turn out to be wrong, the source that informed me this afternoon, then I'll fully expose it, because this source is very important, very in the know, very heavy, right in the middle of everything. And I almost said a he or she, and I'm not going to do that. They know everything that happened right from start to finish. I double-checked it with other people, other witnesses, other sources.
Darren also suggested Malaya may be grappling with
better than the relationship they had before. She had a really rough go of it. Mild-mannered.
around.
A young girl. She's very mild-mannered, very impressionable, and she's had a rough go of it. Not so much with Daniel. Their relationship was a lot better than the relationship they had before. She had a really rough go of it. As far as I'm concerned, she had some damage, she had some PTSD, she had depression, and she probably had postpartum depression. I can't diagnose because I'm a man. But she definitely had some issues. She was a young girl in her situation, wanted out of there, that was looking at it like she just couldn't stand the situation anymore. She just wanted to change her life, okay? But yet she's very soft, very mild-mannered, not aggressive, no real power, no real ability to walk out of that totally herself, okay? And then she reached out to family with her complaints, and she had some friends around her that were her age that were semi-related. By semi-related, I mean to in my family and in her heritage, they had a couple different fathers, like stepfathers, and then the native thing came into it, stuff like that. So she had some girls, and they were all girls. I want you to think about a group of young girls trying to get their friend out of trouble. And how stupid they can be, and the young boys can be just as stupid or worse. But I want you to think that Malaya was scared, hellish scared, and maybe she had a right to be scared, but I think in a normal situation, if she would have been a normal person, I think she would have still been very, frightful a little bit, but she wouldn't be frightful to the point of panic and terror attacks, you know what I mean? So I think amongst her friends, some of them coordinated and took it upon themselves to help their friend, and they did it in a very stupid way. If they'd have talked to an old idiot like myself, we might have been able to give them a better way to do that, because what they feared we could have protected her from right off the bat would have been no problem to protect her what she was scared of. And I believe if she would have done it that way and she wanted to separate and walk out, she could have walked out with her kids. She could have walked out peacefully. We could have drove her and taken her to, like some of my relatives have a good life, and we could have parked her in there, and some of us would have protected her and watched out for her, and her people would have protected her, helped her financially, would have helped her with the kids, and we could have brought her right along back into a life where she wouldn't have to be scared and she'd be protected.
The plot thickened when Malaya reportedly fled with
from Cindy's place. That took it totally out of my hands as far as Meadow and her goes, because they these kids don't jerk around. These kids, these kids could be anywhere from a farmhouse outside of Tattamakush to Platsburg, New York. These kids could have gone through the big reserve in Ontario. I have a hard time saying it. The one that borders Canada and the United States. I say 99% the kids are with natives. And I want the cops to move your goddamn fat asses, you sons of it. Get on the goddamn move. It's been 7 weeks. You guys have the resources. If you got to break the law, if you got to pull some strings, whatever you got to do, go find these goddamn kids. And I'm talking about the states too. You know, there's American cops in on this too. So come on, boys. Jesus Christ, if you can't find these kids, nobody can.
The province of Nova Scotia is offering
It's hard not to give him a lot of credit in this circumstance. I have a hard time believing that he's just making this stuff up, but crazier things have happened. It makes sense. And for a moment, it's nice to imagine that the kids aren't lost in the middle of a bush and probably deceased. So, with all of this media attention, Malaya Brooks-Murray and Daniel and the whole scenario, it's going to have to play out into some sort of drama in front of the public now because people are going to demand answers. They're all over the news as if their kids are missing. So they're going to have to do some sort of interview in that sense. I can see it coming now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'm reading through some of Joseph Morris's comments. Here's this Jensen Alexis 0007 7:35 p.m. I think it meant timestamp. This is totally uncalled for. These guys got some nerve telling the RCMP to move their gad darn fat arses and look for these kids. WTH does he think they've been doing while the mother and her family have been playing hide and seek? While pretending the kids are missing. The RCMP are not at fault. They've been sent on a wild goose chase for 7 weeks. This is partially true. For the love of God, it took this guy 7 weeks to come to his own conclusions, and only because he has connections and confidence. Or what does that say? Confidences. Even Daniels praised the actions of the RCMP for God's sake. And we don't even know if this guy's just adding more BS to the whole situation. Well, boy, aren't we walking into one if he is. He's gotten me. Listen, he sounds credible in that sense. I mean, the claim sounds credible. It sounds like everybody's talking in the background, and he's not afraid to say it, and I'd really give him a big old pat on the back for that. You know, it's hard to digest for a lot of people because it doesn't align with their biases that they've built up at this point in time. That's not a negative thing. It's just human nature. It's going to take a couple days to come around to a certain way of thinking. If this is true and that's true, I would have to think that investigators are already ahead of the game. It's not like they have unlimited resources, but most of their resources went into searching that bush. And by God, that gal that that was up on the CBC, she still thinks those kids are in that bush. She'll still be looking. Oh, God. Another comment, if this guy is yapping here, why not yap to the RCMP and make $150,000? Shame for seeking an audience when 2 children are missing. Totally tasteless. So a lot of people just aren't buying it, but people are just set in that moods. I'm buying it right now. He says that he did talk to the RCMP. Now, do you think a big red, bell is going to go off on the other end of the phone and they're going to say, congratulations, you've won $150,000? Oh boy, it's probably going to take some time. I get your lawyer right now and hold them to it. I get a lawyer on retainer and tell him the situation. We're going to make a little bit of money off of this. However, he's got to make it look a certain way, right? So he's got all of this information. This is like a lottery amongst their friends in the background. It's like a lottery. They can plug all of these things together, all of the most accurate rumors. So assuming he's called the RCMP, and he says he has, hopefully things work out in that sense. Hopefully Malaya comes to her senses. I can't believe this. Why, for the life of me, did you call 911? There's absolutely no reason to call 911 to report your children missing, of all things. You're acting like you don't care about your kids. Why would you do that? If that is what you did. To stick it to the man? To get them on a wild goose chase while you ducked out? I don't know. There has to be a better reason. There has to be a better reason for that call. I can buy all of the problems that you thought that you were in and there was no way out, no matter what it is. But there has to be a direct reason why you would call 911 and not go about it in a different way. Fuck, this channel has a lot of hate underneath it. This man is full of it, in your opinion? So what needs to happen is the police department needs proof of life ASAP. How can we believe this? I'll tell you what makes me a little skeptical about it is the fact that he's out here telling him, if my source doesn't work out, I'll totally expose them. You know, it's like promising something that really isn't doing anything at a later date to make it look like you're doing something in the moment. Go to the police. If the mother did it, then she needs to go to jail. We want proof. The kids are priority, period. Let's see, what else is there? If this is true, I have a feeling Mom is hiding something more than her just running from Daniel. Something seems off. Yeah, this isn't just running from Daniel. I agree with all of that. It doesn't seem right. There's something off about this. Like, how could the cops take it this far without recognizing? That's probably what they're trying to avoid. How could the cops take it this far without realizing that Mom's lying? Like, they're putting too much credibility in these electronic lie detecting and polygraph examinations. Look, it's easy to beat those. People beat it all the time. This is crazy. Lisa Dawn, what's perplexing to me is, why the lie? Why couldn't she just hand her kids over just for a while? Like, look at what she's done. She's sacrificed for her own hide. Now she's sacrificed Meadow. She's given Meadow up to CPS, allegedly. I guess I can't go back and correct because, well, Daniel's out saying that she's on the run with the baby. Like, I just didn't make that up. But according to this sheriff, or this dude, whatever his name is, she's in the custody of CPS. Who are you to believe? I don't know. Don't believe anything yet. Don't believe anything yet. Just keep everything tucked in the back of your mind. Let's see. She says, why the lie? Why couldn't she just hand her kids over just for a while to people she trusted? Leave Daniel and go on with her life. It's not a crime to have others babysit your children, unless, of course, she sold them to her tribe. I don't know if I've heard of that before. Maybe there is within their community, like, there's different ways to go about dealing with women who are having a hard time raising their kids, as opposed to going to the establishment, the white man's children's protective services or establishment, in that sense, where there's no trust. I don't know. I don't totally trust this story. Like there's got to be more to it, and it's probably all centric around how Malaya is feeling. Like even this dude, the reasoning behind pulling this stunt is beyond ridiculous. Like how weak of a person do you have to be if you can't just up and leave your man Daniel here? He's not that tough. He's not that smart. What's he going to go run upside your head? Call the cops, then call 911. You have to go to this elaborate, length to make it look a certain way. This is bullshit, dude. Who's assisting you in all of this? They're going to be in some shit. Like this excuse, like she's so young and impressionable. She's got all these kids. At what point does she become a good mother? It's not like it's her first time. Usually you get good, you get better. It's not like it's her first one in a rookie. She's got a goddamn 18-month-old. And the only time you use postpartum depression as an excuse is when there's unaliving involved. Like Susan Smith level. Probably wrong about that. But anyway. It is a crime to get law enforcement involved, though, and have them spend resources, money, time, dogs, equipment, and have that stupid woman go up there and make a fool of herself thinking that those kids are still in that bush. You got to go apologize to her. She's still thinking those kids are out there. Well, I love some of these comments. Judy Grants, let's say this gentleman is 100% correct. One thing is to plan an escape, but to have all of the volunteers, law information enforcement, and folks in general to go searching some, becoming scared for those babies. So many sending many prayers. It's just plain wrong. I agree. And inconsiderate. I agree. So we've been lied to. We all have been lied to. I, of course, will still continue to pray for these two precious little angels. You do that. I guess you could always argue that they should have asked these two the right questions in the initial interrogation with these lie detectors, with the truth verification squad. So, just to recount a little bit of the things that we have to straighten up according to this, or clarify. We still have yet to clarify. So it's open where exactly Meadow is at this point in time. This guy is saying that she's in CPS custody. So that came from Daniel saying that she left Cindy Murray's home with the baby. And she's now on the run. That was his words. I'm certain of it. These two are playing games. But I guess how would he know any better? Just from what he heard. So this guy is saying things contrary to Daniel just slightly. Does anybody else get that? What else is there? So this Getty, his family connection confirmed by Belinda Gray, lends some legitimacy to his involvement. His local ties and business's background suggest familiarity with the community. His claim of speaking to a source with direct knowledge, cross-checked with others, could indicate insider information, though this is unverified. Its weaknesses. Getty's refusal to name his source, unless proven wrong, undermine his claims. Without verifiable evidence, his assertions remain speculative. His use of aliases, Derwood O'Grady, raises questions about transparency, though this could be a personal choice unrelated to deceit. His inflammatory language toward the RCMP, like "move your goddarn fat arses," and dramatic tone may suggest an agenda to gain attention rather than focus on constructive dialogue. The claim that Jack and Lilly are on a native reservation is possible but lacks evidence. Reservations can be insular, potentially complicating external investigations. But Getty's assertion that they may be outside Canada, i.e. near Platsburg, New York, or reserved like Aquacas, stretches plausibility without specifics. By the way, I said Aquacas the other day, but so that's because somebody was telling me that. Let's see. The RCMP has stated no evidence supports an abduction, and extensive searches of the Lansdowne Station area find minimal clues. Getty's narrative contradicts the RCMP's focus on the children wandering off or a suspicious incident. The involvement of Malaya's native people, end quote, is vague. While Malaya may have indigenous connections, no official reports confirm this as a factor in the case. So you also see a lot of comments about people who really feel that Daniel was mistreating Malaya somehow. Maybe he was, I don't know. But there's all these signals that I didn't necessarily pick up on. So this is going over the comments from Malaya's flight with Meadow, what Daniel Martel isn't saying. Earlier this morning, some of the comments. Him saying she's on the run because they are protecting her location from him. Once she left him, perhaps she believes he did hurt the kids. Telling an entire story about the kids being loaded into a car, of course, could be fake. He could have been controlling her. I get that vibe when he first released a letter or message that he would be the Daniel she first met, hinting that he was controlling her. She may always find herself in these sort of relationships. Daniel claiming that she has mental health issues is very similar to me and reminding me of my case and John Paul, somebody else. The same, but what happened to the kids? Where are they? That's what I want to know. Where are Jack and Lilly right now? She's doing us all a great disservice. I think somebody knows that woman that was on the CBC talking about how the kids are still in the bush. Karen Jones, D3K, says, I wonder how much influence Amy Hansen had in continuing the search in the woods when the children weren't even there. To a hammer, everything looks like a nail. I think she could have had a negative impact because she just wanted to be important. Let's go and look on the moon, Amy. Now think about all of the stops that CBC pulled out. Did all of these expensive drone shots and paying everybody all kinds of money for interviews and really focusing on the severity of this case, the level. 2 kids just up and disappeared into thin air. Oh shit, they're going to want answers up there. They're going to come back, knock on your door and want to answer all kinds of questions for them. Heaven's sakes. Oh, we don't talk to the media. Well, I'm sure you don't now. Oh my God. Malaya, I can't believe you're putting us on, but if you're in the mood to talk, I'm always open. No judging. You don't have to be nervous around me like you would be the CBC in that sense. So I think that I just found who Derwood O'Grady is. Take a look at this guy on your screen. Look at the fancy little mustache. This is Belinda Gray's brother, allegedly, according to the Daily Mail. That's Derwood O'Grady, this dude. Because take a look over at the guy. Okay? Take a look at this guy. Let's go to this. There's Derwood O'Grady right there. Same mustache. Darren Gettys. See the mustache? Does that not look like the same dude to you? Right there. Yes, picture in the Daily Mail. This is published June 19th, 2025, 2 days ago. So what is it that he said he was? Who said he was related? So he's still telling stories. So I think this adds a little bit of credibility to it. I don't know. I think it probably adds some credibility to it. Gray explained that her son Cody Sullivan and the children's mother, Malaya Brooks-Murray, had been in a relationship for about 3 years before Brooks-Murray decided to end it, citing relationship problems. Pictured here is Belinda Gray with her brother, JB. Derwood. So what is this thing updating us anything we didn't know? Let's see here. Let me read this quick. So, interestingly enough, Martel also hinted that there is more evidence than what the public knows, but said he was not allowed to provide any further details. See, the Daily Mail here is even saying that they are autistic. Now, I don't know where they're getting that information from. Brooks-Murray and Martel believe the kids went out the sliding back door of the family's home while they fed their baby. That's what it says. Brooks-Murray and Martel believe the kids went out a sliding back door of the family's home while they fed their baby. And that story, of course, has changed. Police are reportedly working on the assumption that the children, who are both autistic, wandered off, but their stepdad said he feared they may have been abducted. Brooks-Murray explained that she and Martel thought the children were playing, and they snuck away the short time that the couple were occupied. Sandy Mataru, the lead investigator from the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crimes Unit.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home.
RCMP say there is still no sign of two siblings who are believed to have wandered away from their home in Pictou County. They were last seen around 10 a.m. on Friday in the community of Lansdowne Station. RCMP say the search is ongoing and multiple agencies are now involved.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home.
So the quote in the Daily Mail is, this is from Malaya Brooks-Murray. I quote, "We get up and look outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling at them. And I instantly just called 911. I just had the instinct. I needed to call." Brooks-Murray said her children may have mild autism, but were friendly, contrary to rumors online claiming they were nonverbal. They're both really happy-go-lucky children. They're paraphrasing here. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store, everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids, she said. The distraught mother questioned why an Amber Alert wasn't issued, but police said there was no reason to believe they were abducted. Martel told CBC News that he was frightened the children were taken by a stranger. Of course, here are some of the pictures. There's Lily, Jack, And there, look at that handsome mustache on this guy. There's Derwood O'Grady. That's who I think he is. Darwood. And there's Cody's mom. Cody's brother. Oh, there's a flaming balloon. We'll go the other way. There's the happy couple. Gray's once good relationship with their grandchildren's mother changed when Brooks-Murray, on the right, moved in with her new boyfriend, Daniel Martell, who shares a young daughter with Brooks-Murray Meadow. Listen here, Daniel, what sort of monster are you behind closed doors? What's going on over there at that house where she wanted to leave so badly? Were you not doing the chores? Were you not a good enough cook? Man, it's like a country song over there. Following their mysterious disappearance, Grace said that she hasn't seen her 6-year-old granddaughter or 4-year-old grandson in nearly 2 years. Nearly 3. Pictured here is a younger Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Why do things seem so different in the Daily Mail? Just slightly. This is Belinda Gray. So this Derwood O'Grady is Belinda Gray's sister. Their brother's sister.